Okay, so we have an urgent information coming out when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. France orders hospital to ready for WW3 and treat hundreds of wounded soldiers per day in less than a year. The plan assumes France will become a hub for battlefield casualty. Hold on, give me a second here, guys. If you can, please share the video. So they're urging the hospital to get ready. So France has put its hospital on a war footing, ordering them to prepare for the day Europe is plunged into all-out conflict with the bear. The health bosses have been told to brace for a major engagement by March of 2026, with chilling instruction to be ready to treat a flood of wounded troops from across the continent. March 2026, that's the date. Alright guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also the description box. Thank you again for your support. Your support is what keeps us on air. Wow, so this is a bombshell report. French hospital are ordered to prepare for a major engagement by March next year. They're putting out this bulletin. This is a go bag, something that we talked about a couple of days ago. California also telling residents to have go bag ready for wildfire. This one here is WW3 stuff. We see the radio, we see the medicine, we see the first aid kit, the pocket knife. Once again, you do have the protein, nutritions. You have gloves and sweaters and stuff. You have flashlight, batteries, matches. You have money and I don't know what that is. So I'm just gonna skip that. Bottles of water, glasses, keys, and you have games here just in case you get bored and stuff. Very important documents. So this is what you call a bug out bag, something that every American also need to have ready. France emergency kit. European nations are visibly preparing for biblical war, with NATO on high alert for drills. As the Ukraine war rages on, fears of Vladimir escalating the conflict even further are increasingly growing. According to documents obtained by the Le Ganad, I'm going to skip that name, the plan assumes France would become a hub for battlefield. Now, it would need to absorb hundreds of injured soldiers from both its own forces and those of its NATO allies. So, French Ministry of Health said the order was designed to anticipate, prepare, and respond to the health needs of the population while integrating the specific needs of defense in the health field. Among the risks identified, officials warned, was the prospect of a huge influx of foreign victims. The ministry bluntly admitted it is therefore a question for our health system of anticipating the care of military patients in the civilian health system. And while Paris frames it as a major engagement, the reality is far starker. Under NATO Article 5, if France were struck or if the Bear troops stormed into any allied nation, the whole alliance will be pulled in. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call Article 5. And And not only that, if Article 5 is activated and the bear get hit, then they will activate their article, which North Korea will step in. Remember, North Korea and Russia, they had a red folder. You have Vladimir and Kim, next to each other holding the red folder. That's an Article 2. Not an Article 2, but I'm Article TWO. Alright, so it says here that chain reaction would almost certainly drag in Britain, the US, and much of Europe, transforming a regional clash into the nightmare of WW3. Look at this. I just mentioned Kim and Vlad. It says here the warning comes as Germany's top general confirmed NATO will be on the high alert during the Bear Zapad 2025 war games in Belarus. General Karsten Breuer said Moscow drills could be a smokescreen for something far darker. We don't have any indication that preparation for a strike are taken under the cover of the exercise. What are your thoughts? Leave comments down below. But it says, but we will be on our ground, not just the German forces, but NATO. The stakes could not be higher. NATO chief, Mr. Mark, has already sounded the alarm that the Bear and the Red Dragon together could light the fuse on WW3. He laid out a nightmare scenario in July. The Red Dragon seizes Taiwan while Vladimir strikes NATO territory, possibly the Baltic republics of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. That is most likely the way this will progress, he warned. That means that the sleeping giant is going to have multiple fronts. I mean, they're going to have Taiwan. They're going to have, again, the Red Dragon, the Bear. They're going to have all these lands. And also, you can't forget North Korea. But you can't forget the Holy Land. Because all those Mid-East, all those Arab countries, they're going to come together eventually. They're going to drop the hammer. They're going to tell the Holy Land, the sleeping giant is not here to back you up. They're too busy with Europe, too busy with Taiwan. That is most likely the way this will progress, he warned. In a chilling interview, he added, they are now producing 3 times as much ammunition in 3 months as the whole of NATO is doing in a year. Now, this is unsustainable. The Bear mocked Mark, sneering he had gorged on too many of the magic mushroom, believed to be by the Dutch, and should prepare for a future in a hellish Siberian labor camp. Wow. Ooh. In other words, you better learn how to speak Russian now. And that's how it is too. Let's say Russia wins the war, right? They take over multiple lands, and they will cuff the leaders and certain politicians, and they will bring them to their territory, possibly that Siberian camp. Now, in there, they will be held for trial, courts, whether to be persecuted or just thrown in jail from prison for many years. And usually, sometime a lot of these leaders, well, you guys know what happened to the one in Afghanistan, Saddam, who's, again, you guys know what happened to him. So again, that's the consequences when it comes to losing a biblical war. All right, so give me a second here. So in a chilling interview, I truly apologize, I read that part. Across the continent, the preparation for WW3 are no longer hypothetical. They are visible on streets, in schools, in bunkers, and now hospitals. So he's out there. He's really speaking to them. The French citizen will be called on to defend the country if France is invaded. The plan assumes France will become a hub for battlefield. So survival guides have landed in homes from Sweden to Norway, warning people to ration food, stockpile supplies, and prepare for bombardment. Once again, the news even put this to the test by building a DIY nuclear kit with high street buys that cost less than you'd think. Conscription is wrapping up too, with Poland, the Baltic, and Nordics drafting young men and women into swelling armies, sparking calls for Britain to follow suit. In Norway, evacuation drills are already underway as locals rehearse fleeing west to escape the bear tanks. Across Eastern Europe, bunkers and barricades are rising. And not only that, guys, I did post a video yesterday over at Grand Supreme News that Britons is going to receive more than, I don't know how many, but millions of Britons is going to receive some kind of a text alert. It's like an emergency test on their phones, their mobile phones. And I do believe they're preparing. They are. Ever since this meeting between Donald and Vladimir in Alaska, now all of a sudden they are preparing. They're getting stuff ready. Preparing for biblical war. European nations are getting ready for WW3. So the Baltic are building a joint defense line bristling with minefields, tank ditches, and rocket system, while Germany 1,000-page Operation Dutchland maps out protected sites, bunkers, and plans to move 200,000 vehicles and 800,000 NATO troops. How come we don't have stuff like that? We don't have bunkers. We don't have none of this preparation. But we do have Jesus Christ. And our bunker is the kingdom of heaven. It says here, even Britain and France are hardening their nuclear pact, signing a deal in July to coordinate strike in the event of WW3, the first time Paris has pledged to use its nukes for an ally. And that's where we at. Wow. All right, so give me a second here. The bunkers, war bunkers. So you got one in Finland, you got one in Sweden, you have one in Estonia, in Latvia. Also, Lithuania has a bunker. Poland has a bunker. Germany has a bunker. And that's it. Everybody else, they don't have bunkers. The ones that has the bunkers are the ones that's closer to Russia. They have bunkers. Country, hold on, nuke plans. So the one with the nuke plans is, give me a second here. The one with the nuke plans, you have Poland and France. Poland and France with the nuke plan. The conscription plans. Conscription Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Sweden, Germany, Italy, and that's it. It's just a matter of time when things start hitting the fan. They are saying March 2026. March 2026. We in September. That's in the next 6 months. In the next 6 months, it seems like things are gonna hit the fan really bad out there. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I will keep you updated when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. Once again guys, $5 a month Patreon will get you access to our live stream once a week. We talk about things that we cannot talk about on the platform. Also, I posted videos today. Those links will be in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.